Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from the John Parrish Jr. Rink here in Windsor. It is Halloween night across Nova Scotia, but there is still one game scheduled in the Nova Scotia Junior Hockey League. It's at the John Parrish Jr. Rink, as I said, between the 3-4-2 Windsor Oxen and the 2-7-0 Brookfield Elks. Both teams fully recognize as they approach the one-third mark of their schedule tonight. Points are a virtual necessity in order to climb in the Fred Fox Division standings, where East Hants leads with a 9-1-1 record, and the South Shore Lumberjacks are at 9-0-0. A single point behind the Pens with 2 games in hand. We're now underway between the Brookfield Elks and the Windsor Oxen. These two teams have played one game this season here in Windsor, when the Oxen shut out the Elks 4-0, 3 of the goals coming in the final 6 minutes of the game. So both teams looking to get back on a winning track. The Elks have been in I believe it's 4 games in a row they've lost now. So they're looking to get back into but the Oxen too, they're 3-4-2, and they had a tough game here against the Capstone Colts here very recently. And as the teams go down, they struggle for it for a minute inside the Elks net. And the puck's cleared out by 21, Micah Tucker. But Tucker's pass goes all the way down the end of the ice, where it's picked up by Aiden McLeod. Aiden McLeod trying to rush out. He moves the puck up to center ice, but that's as far as he can get it. They battle for it again along the boards, where Walsh picks it up for the Oxen, and then it's called offside. The Elks were supposed to be quite a bit better this year, and that's not to say they won't be, but in speaking with their coach prior to the season, they were looking to have a better offensive year, but their top scorer right now, Ben Stewart, is 1-4-5, 1 goal, 4 assists for 5 points, and he's wearing number 19 tonight. Jackson Spraggett is another guy that needs to get going. He has 1 goal and 2 assists for 3 points. The teams go in to the Elks territory. That's Walsh keeping it in. And the Oxen try to stay on top of the Elks coming out of their end. There's 22 for the Elks, Ben Pohl. And it's taking a shot at it, and the play's blowing dead. The Elks are having a busy weekend because they leave Windsor tonight and travel all the way to Cape Breton, where they will play the junior minors in Membertou tomorrow night for the second game of a two-game, or the second game of the weekend for the Elks. The Oxen, they're quiet until Monday night when they play the Blazers in Sackville after tonight's game. Both teams looking for a win. They both want in the worst way here tonight. So we'll see how it works out. Both teams forechecking quite intensely right now. And not much happening as far as scoring chances go. There's Lachlan Levy coming out. Levy, he shoots it off the shin pad of an Elks defender. And here comes Brody Ellis for the Elks. He clears it in. The Elks still controlling it. That's number 8 with a shot. David McElhern, I believe it was. The Elks recently made a trade with the Sackville Blazers and picked up Logan Wallace. So they are hopefully the goaltending is going to pick up a pace here. Meanwhile, for the Oxen tonight, it's Ryan LeBlanc playing the nets. Graydon Mole taking a breather tonight. We're not quite 4 minutes into this game. The Elks have had 3 shots. The Oxen haven't had any on the Elks net. But we'll see when this game gets going just what transpires. Tried to get the pass up to Bryson Curry, but to no avail as it goes all the way into the Oxen territory. 90 for the Elks. David McElhern. And McElhern is another player that the Elks were hoping would be a better scorer this year. And he has 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points. But he gets a good shot there on LeBlanc for the Oxen Nets. Aiden Glow goes over in the corner for the Elks. Then it comes back out in front. And LeBlanc forced to come up with a quick save there. And then another shot from the point by number 7, Jaden Duncan. And Jaden Duncan playing on the point. And there we are. The Oxen now control it. They get it up to Will Shields. Going in. Oh no, 21 just missed a chance there for the Oxen. Micah Tucker. Here come the Elks again down over center ice. Here's Stewart. Stewart moving in. There's Manning. Dylan Manning takes a shot, and the second one goes wide of the net. Referee blows it down. Aiden McLeod taking the face-off for the Oxen. McLeod going in. Can't quite find an opening in the net, but Logan Walker. Here come the Oxen at their own blue line. Up to Hartnell. Hartnell gets a shot off from the face-off circle. And the play's blowing down. After a busy 10-game weekend last week, there will be only one game tonight, as I mentioned at the outset of the broadcast. But Saturday night in Cape Breton, the Elks will continue a busy weekend road trip as they play the Junior Miners in Membertou tomorrow night. The Junior Miners are currently 1-10. One other game Saturday in Bridgewater will feature the Capstone Colts and the Scotia Lumberjacks in a 7 o'clock start. The Colts are presently stand at 6-3. Once tonight's game is over, I'll be going to Membertou tomorrow for the Brookfield Junior Miners game. And then I'll be in Antigonish on Sunday night for the Port Hawkesbury-Antigonish game. And the Bulldogs still trying to get out of their slump as they're only 5-3-1 for 11 points, while the Pictou County Scotians are 6-6-0 for 12 points. Eskasoni is leading the road division with an 8-3 record, and they go up against the fierce East Hants Penguins in Eskasoni Sunday afternoon as they play the Junior Eagles. East Hants at 9-1-1. Here comes the puck down into Elks territory. Couple of players around center ice. The Elks now doing a full line change. There's a nice shot there taken by the Oxen's Wilson Davison. And Maloney, he jumps on it. And here come the Oxen out of their own end. But Stewart takes it at the Elks blue line. And here comes Ben Stewart. Down, in over the Oxen blue line, but it's whistled offside. The top goal scorers and point leaders in the Nova Scotia Junior Hockey League. And once again this year, the Lane Lockhead of the Pictou County Scotians is on top with 10 goals and 18 assists for 28 points. You'll see the Scotians here the first Friday in December when they visit the John Paris Junior Rink. And then Chris Cassie of East Hants, he has 11 goals and 11 assists for 22 points. And you'll get to see Cassie, too, when East Hants comes back here. I don't know if they come in the final Friday before Christmas or if it's early in the new year, but here comes Dylan Manning. Manning coming down 2-on-1. He gets it across. Oh, the puck was over Micah Tucker's stick. And the Elks start out with it. Here comes Stewart. Stewart whips the puck in. And LeBlanc's going to cover it up there. The Leafs are not at home next Friday night, November 7th, nor are they at home on the 21st of November. They'll be in East Hants that night on the 21st, but they'll be on the road on the 11th of November, Remembrance Day afternoon, as they play the Scotia Lumberjacks in Bridgewater. They fight for it along the Oxen blue line before it gets across to Shields. Shields over to Vinito. Vitterdo moving in right behind the Elks net, and Wallace is forced to cover up there. 11:17 to play here in the opening period, and after the Elks jumped out in front 3-0 on shots, the Oxen have had 8 straight on Wallace down there, so they're out shooting Brookfield 8-3 now. Here come the Elks again. That's 22, Ben Pohl. Pohl still possessing it behind the Oxen net. And then goes in 28, Cale McClellan. But he couldn't hang on to it. But 22, Ben Pohl gets it again. He shoots it, and it bounces off the boards, and LeBlanc was looking for it there for a second. The Oxen now control it. And they're going to try to bring it down the ice here. Nice pass up to Gerhardt. Gerhardt back to McLeod. And McLeod just takes a shot that just goes a little wide. They're not able to keep it in on the Elks blue line. Hartnell now. He's going to chase an Elks player. But there's Walsh, Cam Walsh, and he's the Elks top goal scorer this year. As he has 5 goals and 8 assists for 13 points. And he's been a big addition to the Oxen team this year. And here comes Cam Walsh now. Walsh looking for a player to set up. Goes and a shot, but it was from a distance out, and the shot taken by Gerhardt, and Wallace is able to cover up. There's a shot from the blue line again by Lachlan Levy. And the play's whistle dead. That's Cam Walsh with it. He gets a shot on goal again. There's a shot, and Wallace covers up for the Elks. There's the Oxen trying to keep it in the Elks territory, but to no avail. It comes back down the ice for a short minute, but the Oxen jump right on it, and there's Walsh. Walsh takes a shot. Nice save there. Beautiful save there by Wallace as Walsh went in all alone. That was for the Elks, who got a good shot away there on LeBlanc. Jack Piper. And Piper is the leading, he's the second leading scorer for the Elks with 2 goals and 2 assists. So the Elks very well know their offensive production has to pick up. The Leafs stayed with the Colts. Last week. But then they gave up some costly goals in the third period. So the Leafs or the Oxen certainly know that their defense has to pick up for tonight's game. They were able to handle Port Hawkesbury the week before. The Elks moving down into Oxen territory. And Anthony Pitts takes a shot, and LeBlanc is forced to make a glove save on that. And we have a whistle. We mentioned the games on Saturday. Sunday, November 2nd gets a little busier. The Penguins, as I mentioned, are going to be in Scotia, which clash of first-place teams in the league. And the other games, we'll see the Lumberjacks in Pictou Sunday night, and arch rivals, the Straight Pirates, traveling to Antigonish. And the weekend concludes with a game between the Oxen and the 2-9-0 Sackville Blazers Monday night in Sackville. Play whistle did again. But still no score with 8:10 to play here in the opening period. There's a shot that LeBlanc is forced to make. He was sharp on that. Hayden Doran picks it up, but he only hangs on to it for a second before the Oxen take control. That's Fitch. Fitch getting it up into Elks territory. But the puck is being brought out by number 76. Here come the Micah Tucker. Micah Tucker takes a shot. Nice save there. Good pad save. Vittino, he takes another shot. And we're still scoreless with 7:07 to play here in the opening period. There, the puck's knocked in. LeBlanc was about to cover that up, but didn't. And that's 8 for the Oxen. Aiden Glode standing down around the blue line, but linesman thought that was a 2-line pass. Or even, I guess, a 3-line pass. A 2-line pass is allowed, obviously. So we've still got an interesting season ahead. A lot of games left. And the division standings could change. One team only has to go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak, and it can change the whole picture. But right now, it's hard to slow down Eskasoni, the Penguins, and there's a goal. I thought I heard the whistle before the goal. And the Elks are up 1-0 here. Just going to watch it on the replay here. There's LeBlanc with it. Right out. It looks to be Jack Piper that got the goal, but we'll see here in just a second. Kind of sloppy play by the Oxen there, that Piper was allowed to go in. Now, it might have been tipped in by another player, but it appeared as if Piper caught LeBlanc just a little bit of a sleep there at the net and poked it home. But we'll see here in a second when they make the announcement. There's Jasper Fitch with it behind the Oxen net, and it goes all the way down into the Elks territory. So Piper got the assist. The goal went to David McElhern. It was his third of the year. So the Elks have taken a 1-0 lead here. So the Oxen, it's going to be up to them to get right back in this game because they can't let the Elks get too many goals ahead of them. The Elks have proven they can play defensively. It's just their offense is hurting so many at times so much. Here's Caden Kurlak, number 15 for the Oxen. He starts up with it. He moves in over the Elks blue line. Kurlak still has control of the puck. Gets it to Davison. Or I should say Matthew Shields. I've got to find out here, either at the end of the first period or second period tonight, Matthew Shields, if he's any related to Will Shields, who was the player of the week in the Quebec Maritimes Junior A Hockey League. Because Will Shields is from Falmouth. There's Vidido chasing the puck, but it's going to go for an icing and all the way back down into Elks territory. 4:03 to play here in the opening period with the Brookfield Elks leading the Windsor Oxen 1-0. There's a goal right there. Nice shot. We're just going to see who this is credited to. I believe it looks like 13, Matthew Shields, who got the goal. And Shields won the faceoff, and bang, it was in the net, just like that. I know it's Halloween night, but we still don't have a bad crowd here tonight, but not like we've seen other Friday nights. And no doubt in my mind, people have nothing but the Blue Jays on their mind tonight, as the Blue Jays try to win their first World Series championship in 32 years. Going all the way back to 1993. I was reading an article today in the Toronto Sun where some of the broadcasters that are working the Blue Jays game tonight were not even born in 1993. So, yeah, it did go to Matthew Shields on that shot. $16.04. There's a shot that goes wide for the Oxen. Hartnell looking to pick it up. There's Maloney battling with Curry along the boards. Goes back down into the Elks territory. And the whistles are coming fast and furious right now. You can slow a hockey game down. You get that many whistles in such a short period of time. But we're still only 1 minute past 8, and we played nearly a period. It started about 7:35, so we played 20 minutes of hockey in 25 minutes, so I guess I hadn't better say too much for the pace of play. There's the Oxen with it again. There's Walsh. Walsh has it. Maloney checking Stewart in along the boards. The puck goes to Cam Walsh. Oxen chase it down. Lachlan Levy going in for it. He can't get a hold of it. But that's Keddy, 24 for the Oxen. Quinn Keddy. And play whistled down again. 1:46 to play now in the opening period. Hockey night in Windsor on this Hallows Eve. I guess it's not Hallows Eve, it's Halloween night. Hallows Eve was last night. And there goes the puck for an icing down into the Oxen territory. Well, it's good to see that there are people watching tonight as they await the Blue Jays game. They may have decided not to come out because it's so frenetic right now with the Blue Jays that people don't want to miss one pitch, especially if you look at the game the other night when Davis Schneider and Vladdy Guerrero hit home runs on the first 3 pitches. Oh, there's a bump into the boards, and now they're going to scramble up. The initial one was David McElhern, and now we got a scrap going. That's 27. Jack Piper and Micah Tucker. We don't want to see those players penalized because they're both good offensive players and know what to do with the puck when they get a hold of it. We'll see what the referee's going to call here. It looks like he's going to call something. It'll be the first penalties of the period. He's the referee going to the box, the Oxen box, to tell him. And Micah Tucker is going to get the penalty. And it looks like Micah Tucker and maybe Jack Piper. Yep, it is 27 for the Elks. So they're gonna spend 2 minutes in the penalty box. I assume it's going to be for roughing. So they'll still have 51 seconds to play left in their penalties when the second period begins. But I started to say, it's nice to see that even though people may be at home waiting for the Blue Jays game, the first pitch coming at 9:08 tonight, but there is over 150 watching right now on the YouTube broadcast here at the John Parrish Jr. Rink. So great to have you aboard for this contest tonight. And hopefully by the time 8 minutes after 9 arrives, which is an hour and 3 minutes from now, the Oxen can be ahead of this game and put it away so you don't have to worry about missing anything when you turn the TV on for the Jays. That's Cam Walsh. He shoots it, and he scores. That was an easy tip in there. So with 1 minute exactly left here in the opening period, the Oxen take a 2-1 lead. That's Cam Walsh. And Walsh's That's Walsh's 6th goal of the year. Not that much of a shot, really, but it was a quick shot that Wallace just didn't seem to be ready for. The Oxen having a 19-7 shots advantage here in this opening period. We have 54 seconds to play, and the Oxen are up 2-1. Hartnell bringing it in. Here's Hartnell, still got control of it. He wheels around, tries to maintain control, comes right out to 9, and that's Hartnell takes a shot. But the Oxen can't quite keep it in, and Nick Vitito is forced to chase after it. And after one of the Elks goes down, Vitito comes up with it. He tried to clear it up to 88 Gerhardt. But Gerhardt couldn't pick up control. Here comes Ben Stewart with it. Stewart and LeBlanc just makes a soft save there and goes to the side. Caden Kurlock with it. And Will Stewart battling Kurlock with it along the boards. And now Caden Kurlock, and who is it now? No, it's not. It's, yeah, it is Caden Kurlock and Will Stewart. But that's the end of the period. After that mix-up. So after the end of the first period, the Windsor Oxen on goals from Matthew Shields and Cam Walsh are leading the Brookfield Elks 2-1. Oxen out shooting the Elks 19-8 in that opening period. So we'll bid you a brief few moments, and then we'll be back for the beginning of the second period from the John Parrish Jr. Rink in Windsor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second period of tonight's Nova Scotia Junior Hockey League game here at the John Parrish Junior Rink in Windsor. The Windsor Oxen have a 1-goal lead over the Brookfield Elks, 2-1 after 20 minutes. They outshot the Elks 19-8 in that opening period. The goals coming from Matthew Shields and Cam Walsh, and the goal for the Elks was from David McElhern. The Elks went in front 1-0 before the Oxen rallied with a pair late in the third, including one with only a minute left in this first period. So here we go. The second period now underway. Stewart, he gets it back to Jaden Duncan on the Elks point. That's Duncan. Well, oh, that goal went to William Hartnell. So even when you think you watching the play dead on, it hits a stick or something, and so William Hartnell gets the goal for the Oxen to end that period. And for Hartnell, that was his 4th goal of the year to go along with 3 assists for 7 points. Maybe the pace is going to pick up here just a bit here in the second period, as both teams capitalized on their chances in that opening period, but it still was not a period of the kind of hockey end-to-end, fast-moving, with plenty of great scoring chances. The 3 goals that were scored were, you can't call them fluky, but they were soft goals. Here's Walsh coming down, gets it across. He got that across to Fletcher, and Fletcher fanned on it in front of, now we're going to have a penalty coming up here, and it's going to be to the Oxen. The Oxen have stayed away from penalties so far, although holding is going to be the call, and it's going to go to Deshaun Fletcher for the Oxen. So the Elks are going to have a power play now for the next 2 minutes. The penalty coming with 18 minutes and 1 second left here in the second period. But Deshaun Fletcher going to serve a minor. Playing 5-on-4, the Elks against the Oxen right now. There's Caden Kurlak, dumps it in. Elks setting up behind their own net. And here comes Ben Stewart. The puck bounces out over the Oxen blue line. .44 seconds left in the Elks power play right now. And here comes Jaden Duncan with it. Duncan moving it up, has brought it all the way from one end of the rink to the other, but he finally loses it to number 11 for the Oxen, Lachlan Levy. And Logan Wallace clears it all the way out, tried to get it up to center ice before it was knocked back in by number 14, Brody Noss for the Oxen. There is Curry. Curry coming in with it. He's moving in, trying to get a shot. He did, got one shot. A cover up, but no real rebound. And then the puck is fed up to Deshaun Fletcher there, as the penalty is now over that he was serving. Oh, and just about 22. Dylan Manning just misses. For the Oxen, he takes another shot. The Oxen applying some pressure here. There's another shot. Oxen pouring it on a little bit right now. We'll see what happens here. There's another shot right out to Fletcher, or Fitch. And Fitch is knocked to the ice. The Oxen have it. And the Elks break out. Here it goes, a 2-on-none. 11 shoots, scores! Number 11 for the Brookfield Elks, Hayden Duran. 2-on-1, and the Oxen went to sleep down in there in their own end, or in the Elks end, and let that 2-on-1 happen, or 2-on-none happen. Clearly, so that goal coming with 15-12 to play here in the second period. And we now have a 2-2 hockey game. There's the whistle. There's a shot, another shot, both by Walsh. There's another shot, but it goes wide by 17. Davison for the Oxen. So 2 shots in a row by Walsh on the net, but then Davison takes one and it goes over the net. The Oxen. That was Dorian's first of the season for the Elks. So we've got a 2-2 hockey game, and we're not quite halfway through this game tonight. The Oxen really want to go back to 500 tonight and go to 4-4-1 if they, or 4-4-2 if they can get there. That's Gerhardt taking the face off, gets it back to McLeod. McLeod over to Maloney. Maloney gets it over to number 13 for the Oxen, Matthew Shields. And that's 5 for the Elks, trying to bring it in. Caden Paris. And Cale McClellan picks it up. McClellan takes a shot, but LeBlanc makes a save. There he comes up with another save there on a bit of a rebound. But here's Hartnell. Hartnell coming down. He takes a shot right on Wallace's pads. And then Walsh, she tries to get a shot away, but it ends up on Jaden Tucker's stick for the Elks. Jaden Duncan, I should say. And the Oxen have it now. They get up. Gerhardt has it at the blue line. He gets it past Ellis for the Elks. And then the Oxen have it again at center ice. Caden Kureluk. Back up to Hartnell. (2-2) with 12:34 to play here in the second period. The Elks of the Oxen. There's a save there by LeBlanc. Another save as they try to poke at it, but LeBlanc was really not having anything of that. They fight for it in along the boards near the face-off circle of the Oxen end. They try to clear it out to no avail. That's Brody Noss. He tried to pick it up. Noss protecting the front of the Oxen net. Along with Quinn Keddy. Oh, what are we going to have? A penalty here? No, just a sec here now. We are going to have a penalty, I guess. No, it mystifies me because the referee goes right over and stands right in front of the penalty box. And that's what I think a penalty is going to be called. But as long as I've watched hockey, I should maybe know more of this, but with some of the advancing rules today, but I can't understand where the whistle goes after a mix-up, and he goes right over. There's Davison, a great shot from 15 feet out, and Wallace is coming up with the save. I must try and find out why the referee goes down and stands at center ice and looks right at the penalty box. He does that more times than you shake a stick at in the course of a game. That's proper positioning, I'm sure, but I must find out why that is. There's Ellis for the Elks. He brings it down, but only gets it so far where Davison picks it up for the Oxen. But Stewart grabs a hold of it at center ice for the Elks. Stewart, he shoots, but it goes off the pad of 93 for the Oxen. Jasper Fitch. Somebody goes into the boards there. Now we've got a mix-up. And I don't know if it's going to turn into a scrap or not. How the referee will determine this. But 14, Brody Noss was involved. There's 2 or 3 players down there to the right of LeBlanc in the Oxen end. And there's one player hurt. He's back up on his skates now. The Elks trainer is out to see him. So we'll see if there's any penalty minutes called on this one. Two referees conferring about it right now. Well, there's Stewart going to the penalty box. 91 for the Elks. Will Stewart. I don't see anybody in there for the Oxen yet. But one player still serving the misconduct. I believe it's Micah Tucker. But we'll see what the call is here. They're explaining it to, I'm assuming, the captains, Manning and Crow, or Curry, for both the Oxen and the Elks. Now they're all conferring right in front of the timekeeper and the announcer. But we still haven't seen any penalties actually assessed yet. Except for one, the Elks player did leave the ice and go to the penalty box there. Obviously, they want to make this one right because they're doing a lot of talking over a small skirmish down there deep in the Oxen territory. And they're still conferring. I don't think they figured it out yet. Now one of the referees is visiting the Oxen bench. I'd really like to know what the holdup is here, because this could really, really drag a game down. They've already conferred once. The referee gone to the Oxen bench. He's now over at the Elks bench. And I don't want to be critical, but I really question the necessity of this kind of delay and just issuing a couple of penalties. And they're still talking about it at the Elks bench. But we're 2-2, Elks and Oxen, with 11:10 to play here in the second period. The Oxen presently out shooting the Elks 23-16. Elks having an 8-4 advantage in this period. Players nowhere near lining up for a face-off. I remember it was about 20 years ago I was at a junior game here at Windsor, and these dreadful delays happened with the referees always conferring and whatnot, and the referee-in-chief for the Valley happened to be there that night, and I went up and I asked him point blank, and he went into a long explanation as to what he felt was the necessity, but he also asked me that night, he said, does this happen often at the junior games? And I said, look, it's happening almost every Friday night with that particular official on the ice. And anyway, I never saw that particular official do any more than one game of the junior team for the rest of the year. So it was nice, but this is a dreadful delay. They're trying to explain something to an Elks player now. And he's going to leave the ice now. Took them that long to figure out, but does he have a game misconduct apparently? And who's that leaving here for the Elks? Going to try to catch his number here. I didn't get his number, but we'll get it on the announcement. But the Elks have assessed a major penalty and the Oxen a minor penalty. So the Oxen would appear to be coming up with a 3-minute power play. Two people have now left the Elks bench and gone to the dressing room. Well, we've been in this delay now 9 minutes before the last face-off, when the whistle blew and they had the scuffle down there in the Oxen territory. But like I said, I don't see any need for these 9-minute delays to get a couple of penalties called. But anyway, that's only my opinion, so I'll have to keep quiet and we'll see what happens here. But it looks like we might finally be ready to drop the puck here. And then we'll see what the penalties were. It's going to be 4 on 4 to begin with. We're waiting for another penalty here. Number 19, Ben Stewart. A 5-minute major for Brody Noss. 2 for tripping, 5 for fighting, and a game misconduct. And so Will Stewart has a fighting and a game misconduct. So I'm still not sure how the Elks are playing a short. The announcement doesn't add up to what's being. Now there's another penalty call coming up. Manning has it for the Oxen. And LeBlanc leaves his crease as the Elks put a tripping penalty coming up there. So the Elks have a minor penalty here for tripping. And the Oxen only have 41 seconds left in theirs. So we'll see if it goes to 5 on 3. If the score clock is correct, it will be 5 on 3 for the Oxen over the Elks. That's Walsh at the blue line for Windsor. Walsh has it, looking to set up, whether to shoot or pass it back. He gets it back to McLeod, 92. McLeod trying to move in. Back to Hartnell. Hartnell moving in again. He's trying to do some. Yeah, and that was an offside call there as Cam Walsh dilly-dally with it a little bit too much. Now we're going to have a look to see whether the Oxen have a two-man advantage for 1:12. And it is. That's what's going to happen here. And they've got the power play for another 2:56 anyway, but they're two-man up, the Oxen are, for the next 1:12. There's Tucker with it. Nice to see the Oxen go ahead with a chance like this. There's Caden Kurlock, shoots it. And it's saved there by Logan Wallace. No, the Elks can't get proper control, and they do, and they flip it out. Goes all the way down the ice. With 45 seconds to go with his two-man advantage. Here comes Davison. Davison streaking down the right side of the Elks net. He gets it back out to Caden Kurlock. Caden Kurlock back to Davison. Davison shoots. Shot goes wide. And that's Gerhard going to chase it. Gerhard at the point. He gets it over to Caden Kurlock. Caden Kurlock shoots, but it goes wide. There's Micah Tucker with it. Micah Tucker looking for someone. 7 seconds now left of the two-man advantage. Caden Kurlock with it. A shot and a save there by Wallace. So the two-man advantage is now expired. The Oxen were not successful at scoring there. So the score remains tied 2-2. And the Oxen now on a power play for the next 42 seconds. Next 1 minute and 42 seconds. They'll still be up playing 5-on-4. The Oxen maintain control. That's Walsh. Walsh gets it in. And Manning is can't get it on net at all. And there's Walsh chasing it down in behind the Oxen net, but LeBlanc decides to shoot it out. There's Manning. Manning still has it at center ice. Over to Cam Walsh. And then the Elks get a hold of it and shoot it in. Here come the Oxen. Manning. Manning going to shoot, but it doesn't connect on net. There's Walsh. Walsh shoots it, and it's saved there by Wallace. 51 seconds left in this power play for the Oxen. They were up with a two-man advantage for 1:41 seconds. And then they still had a power play for 1:42 after the two-man one expired. But so far, they've just not been able to have a great amount of scoring chances here. They've done a good job of keeping play controlled in the Elks territory, but just can't seem to do anything offensively. There's the pockets out, and Wallace comes up with a save again. Oxen now out shooting the Elks 10-8 in this second period. There's Walsh. Walsh has it. Hartnell to Shields. Into Walsh. Hartnell coming in after it. He gets it to Walsh. Back to Hartnell. Hartnell hanging on to it. He gets it across, but to no avail there. Only 6:12 to play now here in the second period. The Elks and Oxen tied at 2-2. There's a shot. To no avail now. The power play is expired. So it's now back to 5-on-5. Lachlan Levy, he tried to knock 28 off the puck for the Elks, to no avail. And the Oxen have it again. They move it up to Smith, 44 for the Oxen. Reese Smith. Smith has it in behind the net, but they're all chopping away at it to no avail. But Lachlan Levy picks it up. Out to Caden Kurlock at the point. Caden Kurlock shoots it. And Cam Walsh tried to pick up a rebound and couldn't do it. We've still got the third period to play here. So, still hopeful the Oxen might be able to show some offensive stamina in this third period if they can't in the final 5 minutes of this second. Because they're just not able to do a whole lot of anything right now. There's a pass right out in front by Kenny. Kenny takes a shot and had a great chance. And now the Elks finally come down the ice. They take a shot from quite a ways out, and the block comes up with the easy save. Here come the Oxen. That's Vidido rushing down the ice. Vidido trying to get in. He gets in behind the Elks net, but he still maintains control. Doing an excellent job, gets it out to Heb. Heb, no, can't get the shot on net. And Fletcher had it there for a second. And there's Heb, Fletcher. Back out to Caden Kurlock. Oh, nice pass there to Gerhardt. And Gerhardt shoots. And Logan Wallace comes up with the save. Down to the final 3:56 of the second period. Oxen out shooting the Elks 2-1, 34-17. Gerhardt taking the face-off for the Oxen. And Gerhardt still has it. He gets it back to number 8, Cam Skirman. And there's Hartnell with it, but he lets it get out over the blue line. The Oxen try to move up with it. And that's Jasper Fitch. He gets it in. Maloney tried to keep it in for a minute. And here's Fitch. Fitch with it. He gets it up to number 8, Cam Skirman. There's Gerhardt with it. There's LeBlanc. He puts it away there to the side of the net. And it comes back down. That's Gerhardt. Jacob Gerhardt staying right on top of it for the Oxen. Gerhardt. But can't do anything with it, and the Elks come back out. They bring it up to center ice. McLeod had it, but then it goes in behind the Oxen net. And here come the Oxen again. Caden Kurlock moves it up to Cam Walsh. Walsh trying to do something with it there. And that's 12, Cody Hebb with it. Aiden McLeod has it now. McLeod going in, shoots. Oh, nice save there by Wallace. Caden Kurlock with it at the point. Kurlock shoots it, and another save by Wallace. Probably the two best scoring chances of this period for the Oxen, and they were denied both times. Walsh coming in all alone, and Cody Hebb just couldn't get his hand on the puck or stick on the puck. There's Walsh. He lets a shot go. And the Elks put it all the way down the ice again, and this one should go for an icing. 1:27 now to remaining in the second period. Boy, the Oxen are getting some shots away there, but just can't get the real good ones on Wallace here in the Brookfield nets. He was picked up in a trade with the Blazers there. Shot by Shields, and Wallace makes the save. So it's going to be an intriguing third period if the score stays 2-2, because the Oxen certainly are taking the shots on Wallace, but Wallace is denying them almost every time. We'll see what happens in the final 59 seconds of this period. Lachlan Levy taking the draw. He gets it back to Vinedo. Vinedo shoots it, and a save there by Wallace. There's Vinedo with it. Cross to Paul Maloney. Another chance there. Smith has it. And it comes back to Maloney on the point. Maloney takes a shot. And Levy, Lachlan Levy gets it in. Couldn't quite connect with it there. That was Reese Smith. And here's a breakaway for the Elks, 22, and he is foiled. LeBlanc comes down and forces him to go to the side, and he couldn't even get a shot on net. Here's Smith. Reese Smith for the Oxen. Lachlan Levy takes Josh Morrison into the boards. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, your second period of hockey. So in that period, the Oxen outshoot the Elks 20-9. And they're outshooting them 39-17 after two periods. And the only goal of that second period was won by Hayden Durand when he scored 2-on-0. And the period was only not even 5 minutes old when that happened, and tied the game at 2-2, and that's the way it stayed, even though the Oxen were keeping Logan Wallace busy in nets for the Elks in the latter stages of that period. I would say in the final 8 to 9 minutes, the Oxen certainly held advantage, no question. 2-2 after two periods here at the John Paris Jr. Rink between the Brookfield Elks and the Windsor Oxen. We'll say bid you adieu for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back to bring you what we're hoping to be an exciting third period of hockey, and this 2-2 tie to be broken. Welcome back to the third period of Junior Hockey League action here in Windsor between the Oxen and the Brookfield Elks. The Oxen are certainly outshooting the Elks by quite a bit, and they had a lot of chances close in the last 8 to 9 minutes of that second period, but they still couldn't thread the needle, and the game remains tied 2-2. We only had one goal in that second period on a 2-on-none by the Elks. That was before the Oxen really picked up play. And then in the first period, we had Matthew Shields and William Hartnell scoring. Hartnell's goal coming with only a minute to play in that opening period. David McElhern opened the game scoring and put the Elks up 1-0 in the first period. But it's 2-2 as we enter this third period of regulation. And if it's tied after this, we see a 5-minute sudden death overtime. And if it's still tied, then we go to a shootout. 5 players apiece taking shots on net. Or it might, no, sorry, it's only 3 players. Sorry, 3 players. It used to be 5 a few years ago. That's Shields with it. He shot there by 22. Dylan Manning for the one of these shots that the Oxen are taking has eventually got to go in the net because Logan Wallace is playing an excellent game for the Brookfield Elks tonight as the Oxen are now out shooting the Elks 42-17. But the Oxen are just not able to open up with a lot of excellent scoring chances. They've had some good ones, don't get me wrong at times, but they just can't thread the needle to find that third goal right now, which fans are hoping they'll find, and they hopefully can move back to 500 hockey at 4-4-2. And there's a breakaway for 44 of the Elks. Aiden Glode. So hopefully it's not going to be a costly mistake like that where Glode stuck in between the 2 Oxen defenders and had a clear breakaway. Similar thing happened on the Elks' second goal when Hayden Durant went in 2-on-none with a partner for the Elks, and the Elks or the Oxen defense got caught up. Davison making his way down the ice. He's going to get another shot there on Wallace. He gets 2 shots on Wallace. It was a close game all the way here when the Elks were in town here 3 or 4 weeks ago. And then the Oxen broke out with 3 goals in the final 6 minutes. Now, I don't know if we can expect the same thing to happen here tonight or not, but it would sure be nice. And the Elks obviously do not want to go to 2-8 as they hit the road first thing in the morning to play the junior minors. The junior minors, incidentally, are 1-10 to start the year, so they'd like to get things moving tomorrow night. And just when you think the junior minors are down and out, they come back with a couple of real nail biters, and they've lost here in the last week to 10 days. Pictou County Scotians went down to play the junior minors here in late September, and they thrashed the junior minors 12-1, but then just here last week or the weekend before, they come back and beat the Scotians 5-3. And we got a penalty coming up here, and it's going to be 23 of the Oxen, Deshaun Fletcher taking the minor penalty. So the Brookfield Elks on the power play for the next 2 minutes. The Elks are going to try and kill this penalty off and not have any damage done. That's Micah Tucker bringing it out, and he clears it into the Elks territory where it's picked up behind the net. But the shot comes out, and LeBlanc clears it away to the side of the net. The Oxen clearing it back down into Elks territory as Dylan Manning awaits the Elks to come out, which they do, and they dump it into the Oxen territory. Fletcher gets his 2 minutes for tripping. There's now 1 minute left on the Elks power play, and very little has happened. Nice save there by LeBlanc for the Elks. As Graydon Mole gets a breather tonight. And there's a shot, but it goes behind the net and back out over the Oxen blue line and down into Elks territory. We're into the final 30 seconds of this power play. And no luck yet for the Elks. And there's 14. Anthony Pitts that takes a shot. LeBlanc has to come up with a save. The Elks with it again. 44. Aiden Glode has a chance, but he fails. Hayden Duran scores, gets it out to number 8. And with 7 seconds left on the Elks power play, the Elks take a 4-3 lead, or 3-2 lead in this game. Nice passing play there. And number 8 for the Cam Skirman for the Elks. He gets a nice shot on the third goal. So we didn't want to see that happen. I'm pretty sure that went to Cam Skirman, but we'll wait for the official announcement here. Vidido with it for the Oxen. And it's stolen away there by 94 of the Elks. Vidido bringing it up for the Oxen. And the Elks have it. Brody Ellis tipped it in on the shot by Skirman. Tips in, Cam Skirman shot. .33 left in the third period when that goal came. And it's now 3-2 Brookfield Elks. We'll see what's left in the Oxen tank. And that, there's 11 racing after it. Hayden Duran But here's Cam Walsh. Cam Walsh coming up over the Elks blue line to lock the Levy. And the Oxen keep it in, but to no avail as the Elks bring it back out to center ice anyway. But Davison has it there, and he takes it away. And it goes back to number 28, Cale McClellan. Cam Walsh picks it up for the Oxen. He feeds it up to number 17, Wilson Davison for the Oxen. And it's back out to center ice. Keddy to 93, Jasper Fitch. And then the puck goes all the way down into Oxen territory again. There's Heb. And trying to see the number there. Was it 7? Not 74, but 44, Cam Walsh. Or Quinn Keddy, I guess it was. There, stopped nice by Keddy there. Keddy going in, he takes a shot. And Wallace turns it away there for the Elks. There's Cody Heb with a shot, but he couldn't do too much with it after Wallace turned him away. Here's Jasper Fitch coming in for the Oxen. Jasper Fitch controlling the play. He shoots it, but it goes wide. Here's Fletcher. Fitch and Manning. They're all trying to stay on top of the puck. There's Fitch with it over to Manning. Manning trying to take it in. He finally gets it in to the Elks territory. A shot, and Wallace comes up with a save. Oxen out shooting the Elks 9-4 this period so far, but they just can't find the back of the net with Logan Wallace. A big pickup this week in a trade with the Sackville Blazers for the Elks. There's Maloney on the point. Maloney clears it back in, and Manning picks it up for the Oxen, and then can't keep the puck in, and it goes all the way down. The power play is now over, of course. They're playing 5-on-5. There's Maloney. Maloney going with it, but he can't do too much with it before the Elks take it back out. Here comes Curry. Curry before the Oxen get a hold of it again, and that's 21, Micah Tucker. He feeds it up to Cam Walsh, but to no avail. There's Shields. Shields shoots it in behind the net. There's a shot, and the net comes off its moorings there. We're down to less than half a period to go. 9:54 to play here in the third period. 3-2 Brookfield Elks over the Windsor Oxen. The Oxen, though, out shooting the Elks by a tremendous margin, 49-21. Logan Wallace has played some game for the Elks in nets tonight. We'll see what the Oxen can do in the final 9 minutes. There's a shot, and Wallace shot from Cam Walsh at the point. Not a hard shot, but a strong wrist shot, and Wallace comes up with a save, and that was the 50th shot of the game for the Oxen. But they only have 2 goals to show for it. There's Walsh. Kureluk with it to Hartnell. Hartnell chasing it behind the net. Cam Walsh gets it. He tries to keep it in, and he does. And another whistle on the play. The only game in the league tonight, Halloween night. in Nova Scotia, the Brookfield Elks and the Windsor Oxen. Here come the Oxen. Hartnell has it. He shoots it wide. Caden Kurlak, but it's taken away there by 11 of the Elks. Hayden Duran, who has one of the goals tonight for the Elks, his first of the season. And the Oxen start out with it again. There's Cam Walsh coming up with it. Back to Hartnell. Hartnell going in, shoots it. Oh, my heavens. Can't beat Wallace on that one. There, finally. It comes out. Nice pass there from the corner. And that goal, I believe, is going to go to Jacob Gerhardt with 8:36 to play. And we now have a 3-3 hockey game. Big goal for the Oxen there. They didn't want to let this one slip away. That's not to say it won't yet, but we got to stay positive here. And it's 3-3 now. Jacob Gerhardt's goal on a nice pass from the corner. And we'll see what happens now. The Elks coming back strong. That's Jaden Duncan. Jaden Duncan going right in, but he can't get a shot away. There's Jasper Fitch for the Oxen. Fitch brings it up to Cam Walsh. Or I should say Reese Smith, and then Kenny ends up going into the net for the Oxen. That would be Jacob Gerhardt's just looking here. Well, Gerhardt doesn't have, he's not in the top scoring, but Gerhardt, I believe that was his second goal of the year as they get the net back on its moorings here. 3-3, 8:06 to play here in the third period. Windsor Oxen's goal is his second of the season. Starting number 88, Jacob Gerhardt. This is number 19, Aiden McLeod, number 96. Great goal. Time marker 8:36. Once again, Windsor Oxen's goal is number 88, Jacob Gerhardt. It's his second of the season. This is number 92, Aiden McLeod, number 96, great goal. Time of the Elks marker 11:24. Here come the Oxen. They're controlling the play now. And Fitch keeps it in for the Oxen. Shot goes around the net. And Gerhardt's second goal of the game. Nice shot right directly in front of the net. Aiden McLeod and Cam Walsh with the assist. As McLeod made the nice pass from the corner of the Elks net. There's a shot, but it goes wide. So Walsh has, he has one of the goals here tonight. I believe he does. No, but he's got an assist to go along with a goal. And that brings his totals up to 6 goals and 9 assists for 15 points. Walsh having a real good season for the Oxen. There's over to Fletcher in the corner. Fletcher trying to find an open player for the Oxen, but he can't do it. There's Vidido. Vidido at center ice. Gets it back to Fletcher, and Fletcher whips it back in to the Elks territory. 3-3 with 6:22 to play here in the second period. Oh! And he goes down. Kenny almost had a chance there for the Oxen until the skate slipped out from under him. We'll see what the Oxen can do this time around as they start out from behind their net. That's Cam Walsh. He tried to get it up to Tucker and Manning, but to no avail. And now Cam Walsh has it again with Tucker and Manning coming in, but he can't really go too far with it. But he's still controlling the puck. Gets it over to Caden Kurlock. Caden Kurlock shoots, and Logan Wallace makes the save. (17-4). The Oxen are out shooting the Elks this period. But yet we have a 3-3 hockey game. And there's no lack of offensive talent on this Oxen team. But they are betwixt and bewitched tonight on this Halloween night. There's Tucker going in. Tucker shoots, and Wallace plays him right on the net and keeps it away. There's Maloney, number 81 for the Oxen. Maloney gets it up to Shields. And Shields scrapping well along the boards with it. And then it goes in behind the Oxen net where Fitch picks it up. He's being chased by 27 of the Elks. Jack Piper. And it goes a long ways down. And they're staying right on number 8 of the Elks. Cam Skirman. There's Fitch with it. Fitch, oh, he shot. For a second I thought maybe it was going into the net, but it didn't. The Oxen maintaining control in their own territory. No, they can't do it as a block goes down. And a nice block by 27, Jack Piper. The Oxen's next home game is coming up November 14th. And it'll be against the Sackville Blazers 2 weeks from tonight. They are off next Friday night as they play a couple of road games in Sackville. And Remembrance Day afternoon, they're in Bridgewater. There's a shot, but it goes wide. There's another shot, but it doesn't connect on net. The Elks controlling it, though. There's Piper. Still, And they get it in. The Elks score with 2:33 to play. They were all over the Oxen net and really getting no help. The Oxen just seemed to be mesmerized there. I'm going to have a look at it on the replay, but the Elks were controlling the puck like mad. They had it, they shot it, and before the Oxen could really do anything, the puck was in the net. So it's now a 4-3 hockey game with 2:33 to play. I didn't see who got that goal, but I'll let you know here just very shortly when we get the announcement. Now the work's really cut out for the Oxen here as they move up. Cale McClellan. That was his third of the season, coming at 17:27. 2:33 left in the 2:33 left in the third period of regulation. There's Smith. Well, something's going to happen here. LeBlanc seemed to be tripped up there. I don't know if we're going to see a penalty here. We are, I believe. Yep, that's going to be number 11 for the Elks going off, Hayden Duran, as he tripped up. Goalie Ryan LeBlanc. Timeout now as the Oxen now have the power play for the remainder of regulation. And if it does go into overtime, if the Oxen can score, they'll have it for another 25 seconds into the overtime period. But Hayden Duran is going to serve a 2-minute minor. But one thing the Oxen don't want to see is a loss tonight, and to see the Elks win tonight and then go down to play the junior minors and beat the 1-10 junior minors tomorrow night, because then that would put the Elks at 4-7 to give them 8 points and tie them with the Oxen. So that's something that the Oxen do not want to see in any way, shape, or form. But they've got some work to do in the final minute 24. They've got the goaltender pulled. It's 6-on-4. Tucker with Walsh. It's just been crazy. Some great goaltending from Logan Wallace. There's 9 for the Oxen. There's the puck. It goes out all the way down. We're in the last minute of play here in the third period of regulation. So let's see what the Oxen can do. 6-on-4. Here they come. That's Dylan Manning. Manning shoots it. Save made by Wallace. Manning has it again. Manning to McLeod. McLeod across to Cam Walsh. Walsh lets a shot go. No, sir. No such luck. And here comes Micah Tucker with it. Micah Tucker moving down. He tries to wheel in around the Elks defense. Can't do it. But they finally get the puck into behind the Elks net. And then out in front. There's Cam Walsh with a shot. Aiden McLeod, the final 8 seconds. Cam Walsh can't spend a lot of time, and he can't do it. And the puck comes out, and there's your game, ladies and gentlemen. A 4-3 Brookfield Elks win. 58-25 in shots. And the Oxen in that period outshoot them 19-8. So they've outshot the Elks 19-8, 20-9, and 19-8 in the 3 periods. A game total of 58-25 in a shots advantage, but the Elks still come out with the win by a score of 4-3 Elks for the final. So like I said, the Oxen are not at home here next Friday night, but they will be back in action 2 weeks from tonight on the 14th against the Sackville Blazers. So we bid you a good night, and for those of you who might still keep an eye on it while you're watching the Blue Jays game, we bid you a good night from the John Parrish Jr.